All right, there we go. There's our Happy New Year introduction.
Happy New Year.
How are you doing? How are you doing, Kai? How about that?
I'm doing outstanding.
It's
Already brought in the new year in a good way.
It's always a good day when you buy a drone.
Well, I bought a quad. I don't know about you.
I'm just going to call it a drone right now. I guess can you count something that small as a drone? Yeah, it's obviously not a. It doesn't even seem like a drone is not like a respectable name for anything that's tiny. I mean, that's like, you call that a drone. It's more like a bumblebee or a murder hornet. So I would agree with that. But should we share the awesome purchases we made today? I couldn't wait.
Oh, we need to.
Because we start the new year right, and one of the things that we've been discussing a lot, and I think when our guest shows up, okay, we're going to bring Mel in. Mel from 400 AGL is going to be gracing our channel here in just a few minutes. But one of the things that we're going to that we want to here, let me put this up here because I think your picture is better than mine. One of the things that we kind of are thinking about is kind of gearing our channel towards the small quads, so not just FPV quads, but anything sub 250. So that's kind of it doesn't mean we're not going to fly bigger quads. It just means that we want to kind of specialize because I think we would reach the most people because that's what most people are facing. A lot of people don't want to get, FAA or wherever, depending on where they're from. They don't want to get certified for these big, commercial, enterprises that you're required to do now to fly a bigger quad. I personally want to fly everything. I don't want to be restricted, but for people that want to stay kind of in that lower range, I think there's a huge market that's about to explode.
Well, the latest remote ID is pushing it that way.
And yeah, that's kind of, that's kind of the going thing that everybody's got to, take into consideration. But the big thing, I guess, for me is that you don't have to limit your fun just because they're making them smaller. And hey, Dan, how you doing? Let's say hi to a couple of people that are up here. Dan Zelch, Eat More Possum popped in, kicked off the new year, jumping into our stream. Sunrise Water Media. David Baston, it's late in London. Hey, how you doing? So welcome. We're
welcome to all Woody Drown Son.
Hey,
and a Merry Christmas. I hope to be had on a Happy New Year. And Chris, aka Sunrise Water Media, I got some bad news for you. Here's what's happened to the Beetle 2.5 inch.
The Beetle 2.5 inch became a Beetle 3 inch.
The Beetle has been upgraded to, there she is, the 3 inch machine.
I actually love these small quads. I mean, this thing right here, this is how it started for me. I think everybody's going to start with something small like this, but I mean, you can't not have fun flying this thing. And I think there's a lot of people that describe flying, small quads, even like the Mini. If you want to look at the Mavic Mini here, I'm going to grab a Mavic Mini really quick. Just to put it in perspective, I mean, they're tiny. They're both in the tiny, but this is much lighter. I mean, you can actually have a lot more experimentation with the 3 inch, 4 inch versions of this. And this, I guess, if you unfolded the wings, I would say the Mavic Mini is a 4 inch. if you want to use them as examples from for each other. I see.
Brock
I
has
see.
a question. Brock has a question for you about having an IMU malfunction in the mountains.
No, I've never had I've never had an IML. Okay, I don't know. I may have, but I'm not going to say anything but Goonie Bird. That could have happened. So if you know,
That drone we shall no longer talk about.
Yes, if you understand my cryptic language, that may have been an IMU issue. I had just done a firmware update for that thing. I did I'm not even going to say its name. The company starts with an H, and the drone starts with a Z anyway. But so I don't know. There's a lot of different choices you have there. But anyway, I bet you that was a IMU calibration issue, possibly. I don't know. It didn't destroy anything. I mean, the drone just started doing funky things. This was right after basically an update, a remote update, and I usually don't do that, but it took off fine. But I would say possibly, but I have never had an IMU issue with a DJI product ever. There you go. So never had an IMU issue. I think that is a thing of the past when it comes to really good drone manufacturers. I think they've got that nailed down. They fix that stuff, while you're updating your.
Whoa. Hold the presses. Hold everything. Fly far and wide. I bought a plane or two. Happy New Year.
Oh, he bought a plane or two. Do you want to share the amazing? You want to share your amazing plane since you're still up or not? We got some fun. We got something fun that we could show you. You could just show us. You could show a screenshot of of the plane standing up. We don't have to show it flying. Oh, there we go. I forgot all about that one.
Yeah, we'll deal with that in a second. Let me get to that.
This is just fun video. This is why when you're FPV flying it.
That's the Phoenix.
I think that kind of plane is designed for guys that just want to have something larger than life in their hands. That thing is huge, guys. That's an 8-foot wingspan. I would say you freeze it right there.
Yeah, that was the best part of the entire flight right there. So far,
she's put it out right there.
Get a hold of it.
Oh, the walk of shame. It's okay.
Yeah, the walk of shame had to be hurried up because, as you can see by the smoke coming off of that thing, we had a little fire to go with that crash.
Should we
we literally crashed and burned.
Should we bring in Mel right now since he's ready and maybe has something to say about that awesome footage that we just put up?
Awesome display of incompetence.
Here, let's bring him in. Lo and behold, adding to the stream. Here we go. There it is. There he is. There's the man of the hour.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Happy New Year all around.
Mel's in the house. Mel. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How's things?
Good. Hey, maybe you're going to calm our stream down a little bit. You got that voice that's just kind of like, it's very relaxing.
I wish I could get paid for my voice because everybody tells me that.
You got the voice for radio, they call that.
Yeah, and a face for TV. Yeah, just so stay on the radio. Yeah, I get it. Thanks. Happy New Year to you too.
Happy New Year. Yeah, that's definitely, and we definitely have a new year ahead of us and a lot of fun coming up.
Well, I can say for a fact, an absolute fact, that I started the new year on the right foot.
How'd you start it?
11:59:55, I lifted my left foot off the ground and stood only on my right foot. I started the new year on the right foot.
What were you? Did you have a few last night? Did you?
At his age, being able to stand on one foot for more than 5 seconds isn't
Where's that mute kick button at, man? That's an accomplishment. You're right.
Here, let's get it. Let's get it. There we go. That's better. They didn't want to watch. We can only watch the Walk of Shame so long.
Yeah, no, in fact, Sonari and I both, we talked about cracking a bottle of wine or something last night. And then about 10 o'clock, we were like, not sure I'm going to make it to midnight. And so I got into World of Warcraft a little bit, and that got me through till 2 this morning. So
really,
yeah.
I did not know that about you. If I were to ask you a question about what is something that somebody does not know about you that you would just share, you just did it.
Yeah, that would be it.
That's cool. I didn't know you were a gamer.
Well, I don't consider myself a gamer, but I've played I don't play Minecraft or any of those other first-person shooter things or nothing like that.
Yeah.
January 2008, I fell off the back of my trailer and shattered my left knee.
Yeah.
And my other family, sister and brother and all them, were playing World of Warcraft. And they kept trying to get me to play. And I said, I own a truck. I'm running a business. I don't have time to play an internet game. And I don't have dependable internet often enough to worry about it. Well, when I broke my leg, suddenly I was homebound and wheelchair bound and bed bound and everything else. So once I was able to start getting around, I decided, it's got to be better than the depression I'm suffering. So let's try it. So I got into World of Warcraft in 2008.
There's nothing better than a disabling injury to get you started in something that you're going to be hooked on now for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Kai, do you play any video games?
No.
Engineering video games. Let's see. Let's see if this bridge will collapse.
I do Wing Simulator, and I've got like 4 different simulators on my computer now.
Yeah.
I got Liftoff, I got DRL, and I got Curry Kitten. So
quit using your time so constructively.
I've got Flight Sim 2020.
Yeah, but I don't want to spend the money on the flipping controller for that thing.
Is that the Microsoft one?
Really? This is what I fly it with.
That's what you flying it with?
Absolutely.
Well, no, and everybody buying this freaking expensive ass cockpit setup.
You can buy the throttle controls and the stick controls and the pedal controls and all that shit, but you can fly it with this.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well,
I bet you already got one of these.
I just use a keyboard.
I don't have just one of those.
Oh my Lord!
There you go. So all you need to do is drop the $80 for the program. There you go. Cake.
I got so many things I want to buy for $80.
Yeah, I know, right? But you see, as you've already been informed, when you get to be my age, your things that you can do are limited. And apparently standing on one foot is an achievement. So
me and Kai just buy batteries and destroy them.
Set them on fire. Yeah.
Not on purpose. Mine happened all by
accident. Now I have to admit the last battery that got destroyed was me. The one before that wasn't me. That was Kelly.
The good thing about model airplanes is every crash of a model airplane happens on the ground.
Yeah, and it sucks. It should happen.
It's in a safe area.
You know what they call that in my world is a one point landing.
We both almost hit gliders in our recent. I think the last time I had this little baby up, I was flying around an area where there was a glider flying. He was a guy that was probably testing out his brand new. I forget what the model was. We were looking at it one day. Probably one with about a 2-foot wingspan. And these things are so small that, I thought I was hitting them, but because his glider got huge in on my goggles. I'm like, oh crap. I mean, he just decided to bank up and out right when I'm coming in, and I'm like, that's all the surface area of his plane. I'm
Yeah.
like, oops.
You
We
know,
didn't hit
it's really surprising, but trying to create a midair collision with RC airplanes is not that easy of a task.
Yeah,
I managed.
In fact, it's very
Oh,
difficult
boy, here we
to
go. You
deliberately.
wanna
I
show
mean,
that
to
now already?
deliberately do it. A bunch
Here
of
we go.
people went to Ken Herron's What the FPV event at Minefield, right? And
Whoops.
Kelly Shores and I both have one of these. In fact, this one came from Kelly Shores.
Oh, here we
And
go. Let me look at that really quick. Hold on here. Let me get you back here.
we flew these at Minefield,
Oh, yeah.
and we actually tried to crash into each other. Kelly and I did a dogfight with these, and we could not. I hit power line twice, little 1/8-inch cable. Okay, I hit that twice, but I couldn't hit his airplane, and he couldn't hit mine. So they both lived.
There's brains behind both controllers, and the power line just sits there. It doesn't think.
Amazing how that works out.
Possum says, I feel the pain.
But I do a lot of fixed wing flying.
Yeah, I haven't done any.
I'll put some up to share on the screen.
Here, let me get that up there. Here we go. This is the one we were. Yeah, there we go. This is the near miss.
No, there's no near miss on this.
No, this is a different one. This is the car here.
This is us
on
the 19th of December meeting all was in a big group and flying. Kelly threw in a couple other chases from previous meetings. That's actually my wing right there that he's following. But we're coming up on the good part here.
Of course, you get enough
There's
FPV.
that little Mustang.
Yep.
There it is.
And here comes the Doom.
Pulling out of the car chase right here. Totally just, taking your own time here.
He's chasing after the car.
Now this is Kelly chasing after the car.
This is Kelly chasing after the little car right there. And here's Kelly getting in my way.
Oh my goodness.
Now, did yours keep flying, Kai?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There it is. That's look, it's like bug on the windshield.
Yeah, right.
Stop that. Here, put it back up there. Get it on there. See if you can stop it. You can see its expression. Drones do have expressions when they run into stuff.
Yeah, that was an absolute oh shit moment.
Wow. See, that's close right there.
Yeah.
Right there. This is actually the footage off of mine. That's his
These are
little
opposites,
cam right
yeah.
there. Yep. Yeah. You probably have to turn off that overlay for a sec. But I did pull some stilts off of this thing.
Yeah, it's fun to get the like I said, bug on the windshield is all I keep thinking of every time I see that. I haven't flown enough to get any footage like that lately. Little bits and pieces. I'm excited for the battery tests coming up and the FPV stuff that we got going on. Got a Lion battery for the Croc coming, and I got both Kai and I are going to do some experiments.
That's the picture we're hunting for?
Yeah, that's it right there. That's it right there. There we go. See? Look at the GoPro. The GoPro.
That's an Osmo Action, isn't it?
That's an Osmo Action, yeah.
Yeah.
It actually looks like the faux FPV quad. From that, we call it the faux, the DJI, the new DJI faux FPV because it's not real.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's amazing. If we get your props almost in all three props are the one on the left. You can see they were not.
Well, the one on the right, that's actually from his.
Oh, that's his. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Let's see. Do you have your balance lead tucked away? I see that you have it this time.
Yeah.
We're big into chewing up balance leads right now. It's so stupid.
You're better at it than I am. No.
That's the dumbest mistake you could ever make. It takes you 2 seconds to wrap that thing up.
And there's me. Let's see. Can we turn this? There's me flying off while he goes into the disc bin.
Interesting.
You do any? Do you do any FPV flying? I'm sure you do, Mel. You probably can easy. You're a fixed wing guy.
I've done some FPV flying. Not super successful. I can't seem to really get the hook.
Control.
No, it just doesn't do nothing for me really.
Oh man, yeah. I guess
I guess the bug hasn't bitten me yet. I don't know. I've got the Tiny Hawk, and I've got.
Have you flown with digital?
I've got one of these. No, I can't afford digital stuff. That's way out of my
budget. That helps the bug.
But
once you start seeing things clearly. But yeah, it is. I guess, thinking about Kai was when before we started working together on the channel, he kept kind of poking me on it, and he's like, because I was thinking about doing FPV, I wasn't having a lot of success because I was flying digital and I was crashing a lot, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put some put the time in. I'm gonna get the goggles. I'm gonna get the digital system, and I'm gonna get something that can crash a lot, and I'm gonna learn.
Mm-hmm.
And the learning curve was fast, and I started having fun, and that's where the fun started. For me,
one of the simulators. Let me move some things out of the way.
Yeah,
I'll tell you which one it is. It's Velocidrone. I'm sorry.
Velocidrone, yeah. Do you use Velocidrone? No.
I can rip. I guess what you say, rip it up in Velocidrone, let her rip tater chip.
Yeah, there you go.
But I just don't have, I don't know, I guess I just don't have the interest in it completely.
I think you're either in it or you're not. It's kind of one of those things. And
I'm looking for a video. Yeah. I just don't know. Where I live, or where I'm staying, I actually don't live here. I live in Tennessee, but where I'm staying right now with a friend of mine in Arkansas, it's hard to find places that I can go to do this kind of stuff. And my current issue with the FPV stuff is I have a really hard time with situational awareness as far as where the drone is in relationship to me.
Right.
And so I get lost really easy, and
yeah, that's where GPS comes in. And that's
my thing is that, I'll take it off and start flying it, and that'd be the last time I see it, because I won't know where it's at.
I know exactly, especially if you have trees, I know exactly what you're, I think that's the key, is to know the flying area that you're flying in super good. I've had that same thing. I've had it where, because the desert looks like the desert, sagebrush looks like sagebrush, trails look like trails. And when you get in an area where you kind of lose, it's exactly what you're saying. You lose your bearings, basically. You have to have something. And with the new GPS add-ons to almost all these new quads coming out, you have an arrow that always points home, which is perfect. And you're like, okay, I just got to turn the arrow around. And that's where, you kind of get your bearings back, I guess. And then you start to recognize terrain, and you're like, okay, there's the goal, or the light pole, or whatever you're looking for. Your truck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking for my truck. So yeah, it's just something new. It's different. I think a lot of people are like that.
Not to interrupt you guys, but Sunrise Water Media actually has a very pointed question at Mel.
Sweet.
Oh, it is something going into the remote ID business and fly at night and what have you.
Okay.
He is, if online currency training isn't available yet, when will be able to fly at night commercially? In 18 months?
Good question.
Actually, the only part of all of these rules that it's kind of interesting because the way lawmaking works is once it's been in the Federal Register for 60 days, it becomes law.
Yeah.
So
they set remote ID up on one order, and they set up the night flying and operation over people on a separate order.
Right.
And separate order for remote for the night operations flight becomes effective 60 days after it's been in the Federal Register.
Right.
And
but there's qualifications that you must meet to be able to fly under those conditions. One of those qualifications is functioning remote ID, which we don't have yet.
Right.
So at this moment, it's not 18 months, but it's going to be as soon as you can get functioning remote ID that's approved by the FAA that does everything it's supposed to do, and you meet the rest of the criteria required for flying at night and or flying over assemblies.
Okay. I'm not aware that you had to wait for a remote ID to be operational.
Yes, it's all part of it. It's all part of the remote ID. In fact, I was just reading all that just a few minutes ago, and instead of looking for a video, I tell you what I'll do. I just happened to have this because I was reading this a little while ago. I'm glad I've got a monster computer, because with all the stuff that I do at one time, sometimes the average computer would just shit itself.
I think once you get into that, you get into other questions like, all right, so I get certified in my 107 before they have a functioning rule. Do I have to recertify? And that's a good question. Where you take the test, you get your certification. Do you have to go and do a refresher course real quick? Within the new rules.
And in fact, here's something that I need to actually really probably discuss with Jason Chappert, because I believe he misspoke last night on Ken Heron's show. He was talking about the recurrent test is going away under these new rules.
Right.
So once you have your 107, you don't have to re-qualify as 107 again. You're not required to take a recurrent exam. That's going to go away. That goes away, I believe, at the end of the 60-day registry period, because the law goes into effect once it leaves the register. So he was saying that in 18 months, you won't have to take your recurrent test. But I believe that it'll be at the end of the 60-day register period. You will no longer be required to take a recurrent 107 exam. Now, there are other things that you're going to have to qualify for to be able to do these other things, flights over people, flights at night. You still have to follow all the other rules. You got to have anti-collision lighting and blah, 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 but you almost need to be a lawyer to read everything and understand it completely. And I'm not even sure an average
lawyer. You get into grandfathering the rules because, like I said, you take and you pass the 107 test without the new rules being put into effect. And then, of course, the new rules allow you to fly there, but you've never qualified to do that, like you're saying. So, do you have to? I was under the impression that you were going to have to take an online recurrent test that's not going to cost you anything. That's going to go over, not really a test. Maybe it's just a continuing education thing where you have to click on the buttons and go through the new. That's what I'm thinking.
And it may end up being something like that, but until they get it all hashed out, there's really no way to know. And I really get a kick out of the final rule. It's not final. It's going to evolve. It's going to change.
Yeah, it's they're going to continuously update it. But I'm just flying over this document here real quick. What's the night operations? And it does not say anything about having a remote ID in place for that. It only says that you have anti-collision lights visible for 3 statute miles, and the remote piloting command has completed an updated knowledge test or recurrent training as applicable.
Ooh,
If applicable,
okay, but
like the if on the end of that.
if you read docket number FAA 2018-1087, amendment numbers 11 through 64, 21 to 105, blah, 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 blah.
Hey, Mel.
There's certain certifications and categories, and in those categories is where they've got the fine print that says things like, you've got to have XYZ.
Mel, can I play the theme of dueling banjos right now? Dun, 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 dun.
That's about what it adds up to. Yeah.
I just think it's funny because it's true. You're so right, as far as how you literally have to have a bunch of dueling lawyers here.
Almost. I mean, it's really it's really interesting how they put certain things in this paragraph and certain things in this paragraph that all mean this paragraph. Why don't they put it all in that paragraph and be done with it? But they don't do it that way. Insert date 60 days after publication. Well, hell, I can just put that on the screen. Everybody can read it, really. But there are so many different things, and not only with the flying at night, but the flying over people or any part of any person, and that's actually wordage in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Your drone cannot cause more than 11 kinetic pounds of energy impact, and it can't have any moving part that can cause laceration of human skin. Okay. These are actually words in the documents.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys ever looked up what the math formula is to figure out what 11 kinetic pounds of energy is.
No.
But I did algebra and trigonometry in high school, and they said, you need to learn this because someday you're going to need to know this. Whack, 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 whack with the ruler, right? Well, 45, 47, 40, something years later.
50 years later.
I'm looking at a formula that I Googled on how to figure out kinetic energy, and I thought, holy shit, I wished I'd have remembered that shit from high school now 50 years later. I tell you what, there's a whole lot of...
I think Dave C is going to figure that out.
There's... Man... So what we need to know is does the average Mavic Air Pro, Phantom 4 Pro, Inspire 2, M210, what's the kinetic energy delivery in a free fall of that aircraft?
We got to test that.
Well, you got to take the freight.
Can I use my Hubsan Zeno?
Multiply that by the terminal velocity.
Yep.
Can I use my Hubsan Zeno to test this out tomorrow?
Yeah, I dare you.
Yeah, I tell you what you do. You take your Zeno, take it up to 100 foot.
I'm going to freaking run it right in the car.
Stand under it, and cut the motors.
Let it drop on your head. I guess you could have a hard hat with a meter
that would measure the kinetic
foot-pound force that hits you in the head.
Set up a GoPro. Just
does anybody know anybody that's got crash dummies? Because they have all those sensors in them already.
Yeah.
Right? We could fly our drones into crash dummies and see.
Well, I was going to volunteer Chris to make the crash dummy here. Just set up a GoPro camera, okay, and just feed it live on your channel.
Woody Drones is talking about his CAA guidance, the need of a C of C certificate of competence, basically a certificate of competence in 2020. But it lasts for 5 years, and he says 160 pounds. So the certificate costs 100 to 160 pounds. I don't know I don't know if you have to have two different costs there, because if you take a course, that's $100. Then you have to take the test. That's almost the exact same cost, $150 to take the knowledge test. But
anybody that wants to get their 107, by the way, can go to my website and get a huge discount, even better than Ken Herron's discount.
You want to put up your link, you can put it up if you have a link.
Yeah, from my website, it's real easy. It's the same as my channel name.
Do you have
AGL.
Do you have a code? Is it Mel something?
No, it's just www.400agl.net.
Well, just type it into there we go.
That's there's a link right on the front page in the links menu on my website that you can go to Remote Pilot 101 and get your 107 course for a lifetime for $99.
We like Jason. He teaches well.
He does. And I think Ken Herron's discount comes out to like $103 or something.
104 and change.
Yeah. So I don't know how I managed that, but I talked face to face with one of the guys and they said, well, let's do this. And I said, sounds like a plan. They wanted to give me an affiliate where I would make money on anybody that used my link to go to their thing. I said, no. Pass that on to the people that go to it. So I don't make a thing, but you guys get a great discount.
One of the conversations I'd like to get into is the conversation on, should you do it? Is it a lot of people I think are really like afraid that they can't pass it. I'm just like any test anxiety. And it's really made to be, it's really made to be to make you successful. It's not made to,
especially the way Jason does it. Yeah, exactly.
When you got a 50-50 choice on almost every question, you can eliminate one pretty much just with the way it's worded. And then everything is 50-50. And then some of the questions are just very simple, and
some of them
what
are,
color is class, what color is class? Some of them are
made to fool you, and they do.
Yeah, but it's
not a discount code or anything you enter in. When you go click that link on my website, it's a direct portal to Remote Pilot 101 via 400agl.net, and you will get a $99 price. You sign up. It's a done deal. Yeah.
Do it. It says, eat more pasta. My second recurrent is due at the end of February. I was hoping the new system would be in place, but it looks like I still have to plunk down 150. No, the recurrent is only like $75. It's not.
The recurrent test is $160.
160 for recurrent?
Yep. They raised the price by $10, and that money doesn't go to the FAA, people. Everybody thinks it's a money grab by the FAA, and that's just false. The money that you pay the exam station to take your test goes to the exam station. Got nothing to do with the FAA. It's a private, separate entity. It's a private business. Right. It's not even a federal agency.
Right. When you go take a test at a college, that's where ours are given.
Mm-hmm.
They get the money.
They get the money. And they raised the fee from 150 to 160. So if you don't have your 107 at all and you take my $99 discount and then the 160, you're still into it for $259, right? But let me tell you something. In the Reauthorization Act, and I should have had this file ready to pull up, but in the Reauthorization Act of 2018, the FAA had some things put in there. And some of those things that they put in there are criteria that you must be able to meet all 7. There's actually 8, but only 7 exist. I believe it is. Criteria to fly as a hobby flyer. 100% hobby flyer for your own pleasure. Okay? The moment you post photos or videos on any interweb service, to share with anyone, the world. You are no longer considered a hobby flyer by the FAA because now your intent is no longer personal. Now your intent is to share your view with the world because you put it on the World Wide Web. So anyone who thinks right now today that they fly as a hobby flyer only, but they're putting their videos on YouTube and Facebook, you are actually flying under the 107 rules, whether you're a 107 certified pilot or not. And that, my friends, is fact. You are flying under 107 rules, even if you're not a 107 certified pilot. So bear in mind, the thing comes up, well, I share my videos on YouTube, but YouTube, I'm not monetized, but YouTube can monetize my channel and blah, 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 blah. And now I'm not responsible. That is not going to fly if it comes down to the nails and the hammer in the courtroom, because you posted it on the web before it ever got monetized or anything. That changed your intent. You are no longer intending to keep this as a personal hobby. Now you're sharing it with the world. So just keep that in mind, guys. And I said 2 or 3 years ago that their goal is to make everybody a 107 pilot.
Right.
By writing the rules that way, they make you fly under 107 regulations. If you do not know the regulations of 107, you're going to get yourself in trouble very quickly. And I can guarantee you a couple of things. And I use this analogy because I don't like to mention names or throw spears at any one particular person. But if you get a parking ticket on your windshield and you throw it in the glove box, and then next week you get another parking ticket and you throw it in the glove box, and this goes on for a year and you get a stack of parking tickets in your glove box, guess what? The judge is going to tell his boys to come have a talk with you. They're going to bring you in because he wants to have lunch with you. Okay? I don't care what the situation is or what the crime is or violation is or whatever, you know. If you ignore notifications from federal agencies, eventually they're going to come and talk to you. Period. The
Like
end.
not paying your taxes.
Well, I don't know. I get away with that. No.
Oh, you just contradicted yourself, Mel.
No, actually,
Okay, now did you hear that?
it is.
Not worried
It
about
is.
IRS.
I was being facetious, guys. But they will actually eventually. Now, I will tell you this too, because I spent 2 hours on the phone with an FAA rep from a BISDO office, and I got
Seems like a lot of people have been doing that lately.
I got his particular phone number from another channel that the guy posted the emails and the phone numbers that he'd been exchanging with the BISDO office because he got busted, he got reported, and they contacted him, and they didn't give him any fine, they didn't lock him up, they educated him, and he since got his 107, learned the rules, and now he presumably flies legal. But I called that FISDO office and talked to that agent for 2 hours on the phone. He was very kind. He gave me 2 hours of his time. He would not put anything on the record. But here's what he told me. I can say what the conversation was because it's hearsay, right? They don't have the time to sit and watch YouTube videos to see who's posting their videos online or not, and then to investigate whether or not they're 107 certified and whether or not they're flying legal and whether or not they're using lighting device and blah, 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 blah. They don't have the time for that. They don't even have the ability to legally do that. If they get a call and someone is being reported, they actually don't do the investigation themselves. They have to contract a law enforcement agency to do the investigation. And then the law enforcement agency comes back and says, here's the facts we found. Then the FAA takes those facts and compiles their response to you in the form of a letter of notification.
Right.
And that's how it works. And that's
So you have to
straight
be
from.
a pesky person. Yeah.
So if
So
you,
if you fly over a lot of office buildings in a major city in Class B airspace, you probably are going to get reported several times.
I would think so. Yep.
Flying over blue, guys.
Um,
Flying under blue, it's,
and yeah, and well beyond visual line of sight. Okay. Maybe only 1,000 feet away. But if the buildings that you're standing in are 200 feet tall, you're beyond visual line of sight now because you can't see nothing because you got 200 feet of blockade around you.
Well, say you're contracted to go up 1,000-foot radio tower to do a
inspection of the top of the cell tower. Okay.
Yeah. So now you're not only 1,000 feet above, could be 1,400 feet above the cell tower. Understandable. The rules are extended above the tower.
Careful,
but you're still out of line of sight.
Not 1,400 feet above the tower. You meant
right.
1,400 feet above the ground, right?
1,000 foot or whatever the tower is.
Right.
But still, you could still use the out of line of sight, argument there, assuming, so this is where you get into your spotter, your observer, your visual observer with his, with his binoculars.
Actually, they're not even allowed to use corrective stuff either. They have to use a naked eye just like we do. But if you have a building, say, that you can't see the other side of, and you have to put your drone on the other side of it, then you need to have a spotter on the other side that you are in communications with that can keep an eye on your aircraft once you no longer can see it. You can still go as a 107 pilot 400 feet above the tallest portion of the structure as long as you are within 400 feet of that structure. You can't go 420 feet from it and go 400 feet above it.
You're looking up 1,500 feet to the top of a tower, and you can't see your drone.
Probably
outside of visual line of sight.
Probably a Mavic Mini you can't see. I think you could still see a Mavic at that distance.
I'm playing devil's advocate here because
I get you.
If you're 2,000 feet out or 2,000 feet up, it's the same thing.
Put a strobe under that.
All right.
That doesn't solve the line of sight rule. That does not make it cover the line of sight rule. Because the line of sight rule says you must be able to see the aircraft well enough to determine its orientation and direction.
Right.
And if all you can see is a blinky strobe because it's a mile away, you can't tell which way it's facing by looking at it, which means you are beyond visual line of sight.
Interesting.
Because I promise you, the wording is
easier to make out your aircraft.
It says that you have to be able. It says you have to be able to determine the orientation, which means you have to be able to see which way it's facing.
I get that. What I'm saying is, you have to take your eyes off the aircraft for a second for whatever reason, and you got to go, back to it. That strobe is going to make it easier for you to find it.
Oh, the strobe will make it easier for you to find it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Now, I was flying with guys out in California for PG&E when I was flying for Precision Hawk, and I was the gimbal operator. So I was flying the camera, and my pilot in command was flying the drone. There were times because of the terrain and the trees and everything that even a couple thousand feet away, we could not see that Inspire because of the trees. It blended in. The strobe was the only thing that kept the drone in visual sight. Was there any other way to do the job? No. Was there ways to do the job maybe where we could get closer to the tower that we were looking at? No. No way to get closer to it. They would not provide ATVs or anything like that to get to places like that. My pilot in command at that particular time chose to go ahead and fly that tower. I took the pictures. I wasn't the pilot in command. I was the camera operator. Is it my responsibility to tell him to halt the mission because I can't see the drone?
No, because you're not the pilot in command.
I'm not the pilot in command. It's up to him. Am I looking at anything but the screen on my device so that I can see the subject matter that I'm doing the photographs of? Nope, I'm not looking for the drone. I can't even see the damn thing. I'm not looking for it. I'm looking at my structure. I'm taking my pictures. He said he could see the drone. As long as he says he can see the drone, that's all I got to worry about.
Interesting.
It is.
That's all I say.
And we weren't allowed to keep any of those images or any records of any of those flights. We weren't allowed to keep any of that information. In fact, at the time, we all had to sign an NDA. But the way they word the rules is important, and the way that we interpret the rules is important, because a lot of people think I'm flying as a hobby flyer. My channel's not monetized. I can do whatever I want. And that's almost true. If your drone fails and crashes onto a street and grandma runs over Junior on the sidewalk because something fell out of the sky in front of her car, I don't care what hobby you think you're flying for, you're in a heap of trouble because you're flying under 107 rules, whether you're 107 certified or not. So please, everyone, be careful of that. If you're posting your videos anywhere or your pictures anywhere,
I'd be more afraid of the lawsuit from grandma.
That's exactly
or the young boy.
But see, that's what I'm getting at. You know, when someone we all know got an interesting letter in the mail and somebody else said, no harm, no foul. So that was saying that basically you can fly however you want, but as long as nothing happens and you get your drone back safely, it's no problem. Do you agree with that statement, Kai?
Not at all. Not at all.
Chris?
There's a lot of I agree with the way the hobby is going, for damn sure. I agree with the certifications. I agree, but I agree that there's so many misinterpretations of the current rules, especially with the one you just told me about the tower inspection. When you're 2,000 feet above a tower, you cannot legally fly and you're agreeing with that. Or 1,500 feet. If you're saying you can't see your drone at 1,500 feet, then you can't inspect that tower, period.
Right. If you can't see and be able to determine the orientation.
Yeah.
You know,
but I don't agree with the fact that if you need to inspect that tower and that's the safest way to do it, I disagree that you can't do it based on the FAA rules, because to stick a man up there is a hell of a lot more freaking dangerous than flying a stupid drone in the middle of a freaking empty area where you're basically
a forest. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So anyway,
I agree.
I understand.
I agree. But
the rules are the rules.
I think those are all things that yet gonna have to get worked out.
Right. But I think we're going the right direction. I do.
A lot of the guys that were out there flying that were the hired PICs, because they were hired to be a pilot in command, and then they hired other guys like me to be what they called a sensor or sensor operator. And the pilot in command, the responsibility was solely on his shoulders. The mission, the duration of the mission, the success of the mission, every single flight. Every individual tower was considered an individual mission, and it was up to that pilot in command to make that determination. And this one particular thing that I'm referring to was a valley that was probably 2 miles across, and there was a structure, a lattice structure, right in the center of the valley, and it's nothing but trees. And I mean, not even houses. This is wilderness trees.
Right.
Okay, so. We could see the tower. We could see the sun reflecting off the steel and that, we could see the tower, with the naked eye, big metal structure sticking up above the trees. When the drone got out there, it was like, man, I can't see that. He's like, that's okay, I can see it. I said, really? He goes, yep, I can see it. I said, okay. You know, what are you going to do? And then when we got done, he said, you know how I could see the drone? I said, well, we had the strobe on. He said, yeah. He said, but that's not why I was saying I could see the drone. He said, I could actually see the drone. I said, okay. I said, well, what if that would have been, instead of a field of trees, a field of homes?
Right.
He said, I wouldn't have been able to see the drone. I wouldn't have been able to fly the flight. And I had to scratch my head for a minute and figure out, now, why in the hell did a field of trees versus a field of homes make a difference?
Well, you could be a hell of a lot closer to it for sure, one thing. But.
Well, not only that, we could have got closer to it and flew it that way, but just those, based on those two things, what was the difference? The difference was percentage of hazard.
Right.
Over the field of trees, there was no hazard, no danger.
So he
felt he could see the drone well enough to fly the mission, but he would not have felt comfortable doing it if it had been a bunch of homes.
If I were flying an Inspire and I was anywhere over any roads or people, first of all, I wouldn't fly over it. That damn thing weighs freaking what, 5-6 pounds or something like that or more.
Yeah, I don't know, 10. Yeah. I don't know
what. Well, I'm just saying. Yeah, I wouldn't. You know, I wouldn't do that. That's to me that looks at logic, and
yeah.
You know, you're gonna kill somebody with an Inspire dropping out of the sky.
Well, you know, you could.
My 6-inch freaking croc would kill you if it freaking fell out of the sky.
There you go. You know, it takes common sense. It takes logic. It takes thinking through things. And a lot of people just don't seem to either A, want to do that, or B, have the ability to do that.
We got Lon Denard freaking writing a book here, so we should probably read some of his comments.
The Inspire weighs about 7 pounds.
7 pounds, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was up there.
I just like Lon always brings up these.
Lon is the greatest. Yep.
I haven't seen him in a while. I'm glad we brought you in because he's probably following you.
That's probably how he got here. I don't know. Although I didn't advertise much, I did say that I was going to be on a stream on Friday night. You know what we should have done is we should have broadcast this on all 3 channels.
Oh, yeah. we were actually trying to figure that out. We haven't.
I can do it. I can do it. It's easy.
Cool.
Yeah. So if we do this again, you'll have to. I'll let you know.
We signed up for the StreamYard special where you can broadcast up to 6 channels at the same time. So
yeah,
we are signed up for the plan. We just haven't.
Okay.
We'll have to work it out. Sure.
I don't use StreamYards, which is why I'm able to do it without even sweating it. All I got to do is punch a few keys on the keyboard and make it happen, which is kind of handy. But
yeah.
Well, you're proud of that freaking computer. He's got a freaking supercomputer in his basement there. I know it. I've seen it.
No, it's the software that I use. It's vMix. It gives me that ability.
Oh, vMix. That's right. I remember you've actually been using that for quite a couple of years now, haven't you?
Yeah. Almost 2 years. Yeah. A year and a half. Something like that.
Far and wide. Lon is life and soul.
He is.
In UK, they will put a license on flying a kite the 1st of April. That's Woody.
You know, the thing that scares me about Lon, and he's kind of like Ken. You know, Ken Herron has this very different way of thinking.
Yeah.
Right? Lon is the same way, but it's a different way. He has his own different way of thinking.
I'm not insulted by Lon whatsoever. I like
me neither. I like him.
When people bring in very interesting, subliminal comments, I call them.
Yeah. And in fact, I don't have it right in front of me, but he gave me a great deal on an Osmo Mobile 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's actually a good little gimbal.
Yep.
I like it. I like it.
Kyle, you got a 3 or a 4?
I've got the 3.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, you got a 3 of
I
it.
couldn't make myself spend $150 on a new 4, so I spend about 80 on a used 3.
When I go back outside, once the spring hits, right now the no fly zone is inside, but once our weather starts to turn the corner, I'm going to go back outside and start streaming out there. And I think I'll buy one of those Osmo, probably 4s, because they'll probably be $100 by the time spring rolls around. They'll probably have an Osmo 5 by then.
You never know. You never know. But
So what do you think about the philosophy of, obviously, if you're flying sub 250s and you're still putting content up, we don't want to get into that, because obviously you've got a position on that, and there is a legal position on that. But what about just as a flyer, just limiting yourself to sub 250 and just staying in that envelope? I see a future with that. I see an amazing future.
It's entirely possible, because here's the thing: currently, with the rules the way they are, everything sub 250 is exempt from everything except flying by the rules.
Yeah,
you still got to fly by the rules.
correct.
But you don't have to register it. Not being required to be registered also exempts it from remote ID requirements. You can put a light on it and fly it at night. You can put a strobe on it. But the moment you do that, you're no longer sub 250. Now you're under 107 regulations.
You talking if you were to put a strobe on a mini, but there's other quads that are below the 250, even with a strobe on it.
Well, if
I'm going to shave some weight off this so I can put a strobe on it.
If you stay sub 250 completely, takeoff weight, then you're exempt from all the registration, remote ID, everything. You're exempt from all that.
All they got to do is invent a lighter LiPo. Battery technology improves. This thing's going to be sub 250. Even more sub 250.
It's a Japanese battery.
Yeah.
All they had to do was, instead of putting that little stupid green blinky, "Kit, I need you, buddy," light on the front of that stupid thing, they should have made a little white dome on the top of it that blinked, and then it would have been good.
There you go. Why can't you? Yeah, why the hell don't
That's all they should have done. I mean,
put 2 of them. One at the bottom, top, one at the bottom.
Yeah, they weigh nothing.
And in fact, if you take
they use hardly any power whatsoever, too. I mean,
you can take a strobe just like this. Now watch me backfire. Oh,
you got the ones that are just circuit boards, right?
So small you can't even find a button to turn it on.
Let's see. Lon says the Mini 2 weighs around 240. He says, get the Japanese battery. There you go. Yeah, that's the one that's what I'm getting.
You take this, you take the battery off of it, okay? Because the battery is probably 60% of the weight of this thing.
Oh, yeah, and just wire it in.
And hardwire it to your circuit, and then make the strobe just stick out through the case of the drone. I mean, that Mavic Mini is so hollow. There's so much room in there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you're right on. We're Kai and I are actually trying to perfect the perfect. We're looking at the tutelage of a lot of different people trying to perfect the low cost sub 250 quads and battery, all the battery technology right now that's being, with the lithium ion battery. We're looking at all kinds of different solutions. Hey, Third Eye, I haven't seen him around in a while. Hey, how you doing?
Hey there, Third Eye. So you take this one. This one's got 4 LEDs on it.
Right.
Oh yeah,
that's a Christmas tree there.
Remove the battery. Extend the wiring on those LEDs. You can put one on all 4 sides of the Mavic Mini and still stay under 250.
Well, yep. A lot of these mini FPV quads are coming with power leads, so you have, external power, and you can pretty much wire anything you want there. Most of them are for cameras, but you can easily stick a strobe on there or whatever.
The only thing that I would be concerned about with that, especially at night, is, well,
Situation awareness.
Ben, is my button going to work?
Ben T in the house, man, dropping down the 10 spot. Thank you, Ben. Happy New Year back.
I got a Canon thing I can do for that.
All right. I would be using my OBS to stream into StreamYards, but my computer is freaking ancient, so I don't want to stress it out too much.
OBS isn't that heavy. It shouldn't.
It's heavy for 2012 technology.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I had a little bit. I had a software. It's running. It's having some software conflicts with with Windows 10, and that's where the problem is. I don't think the hardware is a problem. I think it, but I'm not smart enough to fix that problem at this point. So I'm the guy that's got to update the processor and.
Lon asking about voltage for the Strobe, I'm guessing. Your flight controller actually has 5 volt and 3.3 volt available on it that you could just tap into.
Be right back.
Would be easy enough to solve that issue.
I think so. If you really wanted to mess with it, it'd be fairly easy.
I like those little strobes those are the Firehouse Technology strobes.
Right? Yep. That's what they are.
I like those products.
I got a whole set of them sitting right here on
I actually have the one that has the Deadman switch in it. If it doesn't detect any movement for 4 minutes, it starts beeping.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So if you have to land or lose your drone for whatever reason, the app will get you close, and then that thing's going to be flashing and beeping. You'll find.
Yeah. The only time that I lost my Tiny Hawk was at the edge of the woods on my property, and I got close to it by watching the video from my goggles, and then once I got close to it, I just kept cracking the throttle, and then I saw some weeds wiggling, and there it is. It took me about 5 minutes, but that was the only way I was able to find it.
Well, I was out.
Lincoln Strobe would have been handy.
I was out flying out in the country last weekend, and during my flight, I hit a cattle panel, and then shortly thereafter, I mangled was a tree. I recovered after the panel, kept flying, hit the tree, found the quad, but the camera that was on the quad, it was gone.
Yeah,
I looked for 5 hours.
That's something that maybe you can clear this up for me, because right now this is clear as mud. All right. The GoPro 9 is $450.
Yeah.
Right. The 8 is $450. These, if you get them on sale, are about, well, you can get them for under $300 now. Okay.
Yep.
But why in the world would you take a $400 camera and put it on the top of this quad and fly it around and not expect to destroy this camera and then cry like a baby when you do? Really?
Well, that's why everybody loves to
turn your mic on, Chris.
Yeah, your mic. Far and wide is just taken off, but he's had enough. But it's midnight or 1 o'clock there, so hey, take it easy. Maybe you don't want the mic on.
There's another.
Thanks, 808
pounder. We'll set the cannons off for it. What do you say?
It's the pickles, guys. You don't understand that that New Year's Eve I was actually pretty good, but right now I've got another jar of Old Smoky. So yeah, Old Smoky pickles.
Ain't nothing like a good pickle.
Yeah, nothing like an Old Smoky pickle too.
But
Old
no,
smoke.
everybody likes to use the GoPro cameras for that because they can buy that extended warranty with Best Buy, and when they do smash that thing, they can take it to Best Buy and claim warranty on it. And
Oh yeah, but Best Buy's getting wise and they quit doing it. They don't honor it
yeah,
anymore most of the time.
that's
They send it in. They'll
that's
send it in for you
not,
now.
well, there's conflicting reports on that. Some of them are, some of them don't.
Yeah.
You can get a GoPro 7 for a couple $200 right now. You can find an 8 for $250, somewhere around there. The 9s are the ones that are you can still get around for $399, but still it's still a lot of money
Okay,
to run
so
into a tree.
here's the thing. For the cost of 2 fancy GoPros, you can buy the digital stuff to put on your drone.
There you go.
And, not only can you see better, but you get good video out of it too.
Well, you're preaching to the choir here. That's called the air unit.
Yeah. Now, if anybody wants to donate a DJI digital system, P.O. Box 12, Holiday, Tennessee, 38341.
I'll trade you my DJI digital system for your computer. Hey, it's all in perspective. I'm using crappy computers so I can fly cool drones. You use a cool computer, but it's kind of like you're either poor one way or you're rich the other way.
Well, the thing is, though, is to have a decent machine. And now this is not a super machine by any means. I mean, I still got to create proxies to edit video if I'm editing lots of 1080 or 4K or something like that.
Okay.
But proxies make it easier to edit anyway. So since I started doing that, I'm like, I do that all the time just because.
Right. 808 says he's got a pounding headache.
I'm thinking
this is for you.
In 2 years, in 2 or maybe just a hair over 2 years, I don't have 1,500 into this computer.
That's pretty good. You've probably got a decent system. You don't need a BMac.
Well, I had a decent one, and then I changed the motherboard and the CPU, and then I recently changed the CPU, and I added the RAM, and I put in a better video card. Really,
do you have an
the only
SSD
thing
drive?
What's that?
Do you have a solid state drive?
I have 2. No,
2?
3.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge key right there in processing time is that SSD drive. Just so you only do SSD, no.
Oh no, I've got a 4 terabyte spinner in there too.
That's cheap. That's the cheap memory there.
Yeah. That's just storage.
Right.
And then I've got a 2 terabyte Western Digital external cloud drive that I can access from my phone or anything I want.
Yeah. So you run your applications on your SSD drives and then you store all your files in the.
Yeah. So that makes it, much more user friendly.
Right.
But yeah, I've got 64 gig of RAM.
Yeah, you're sitting good.
I've got a Ryzen 7 CPU.
Yeah, that's a good CPU. Those are the CPUs now that are kind of in style. AMD has stepped up to the plate.
Finally, AMD was always second hind tip, but yeah, finally they're the go-to as far as I'm concerned. But
Best Buy had a Ryzen chip laptop for $399, and I freaking almost pulled the trigger on it and I didn't do it. I'm freaking still kicking myself for that. I ended up buying
even if it was a Ryzen 3 chip, you'd have been better off.
Yeah, it was. It's a Ryzen 3. Yep.
Yeah. That's a good chip. I mean, last year at Christmas, we built Sonari's computer. We bought the parts, we put it together, and that's got a Ryzen 3 chip in it with 16 gig of RAM behind it.
Yep.
And a decent video card, not a smoker, but just a decent one. And it plays World of Warcraft, and that's a very graphic heavy situational game. And, That's all. She didn't care about editing video or doing anything that kind of,
You guys
But-
heard that here first on my channel. Mel 400 AGL plays World of Warcraft.
That's right. I've got a troll hunter on the classic server, and I've
I can't
got
believe you're saying that stuff.
huh?
You're an old guy. You're not supposed to talk like that. I got a troll hunter, and
I was a
What I really want to know here is 808 State is talking about something about a headache. Is that the leather allergy coming through again? Y'all know what the leather allergy is?
he's drinking loads of water to hydrate because last night was heavy.
Yeah, you know what the leather allergy is?
The what?
A
Tell us.
leather allergy?
Leather allergy? No.
That's when you wake up in the morning with your boots still on. And your head hurts like mad. You know you're allergic to the leather, right?
he says a leather allergy. Okay, you understand? He's trying there.
Yeah.
I've got Possum's battery back there, by the way. If he's still on,
Hello, Bob.
yeah, that's his lithium. That's his lithium pack he just built. But he's building his own lipo packs lithium ion packs, me and Kai are kind of interested in doing that. So, but
It's a good way to go. I mean,
No, we will be building those.
yeah.
I will be building those.
Oh, I'm gonna too. I didn't pull the trigger on it. I was gonna buy two with the quad, and I'm like, oh crap, I can save all that money and just make them. I mean, I think you can make them like $35,
25.
25. Yeah. So you pieced it out, for the, the balance lead and the XT30 or 60 and wire and four freaking batteries and a bunch of saran wrap and some duct tape.
yeah.
Just making stuff up there. The saran wrap thing. I would use that.
Yeah, but they make shrink tube. They make get this. I mean, go fancy. Put them in
Shrink
shrink tube.
Yeah.
No,
The big
already
shrink-
got all that stuff laying around here.
That's what my wife calls it, a shrink tube. Oh, okay. Here we
I
go.
don't know.
Old
Let's
Smoky.
see.
She wasn't talking about anything that had heat applied to it.
This channel has reduced itself down to Old Smoky.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, Mel. We had to bring you into this. I'm so glad that you popped in, though. Kai and I, we have fun.
I was
We
a
have-
little afraid, actually, but
We're pretty normal. We usually get a good conversation. Huh?
Says who?
Says See, he's
You
the
guys-
fixed wing guy. I'm the freaking quad guy, and he's the smart side. I'm the Rodney Dangerfield side. So you got to have both sides.
I'm gonna.
Except he
close
crashes
that.
way more than I do.
You guys want to see something really cool?
Sure.
Since I know Chris is into fixed wing, and both
Kai's
of
in
y'all,
the fixed wing.
I mean, Kai's into fixed wing and Chris is into FPV, and they're kind of into both all of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
all
just
interesting to
understand
you.
fixed wing. Not yet.
Well,
It's coming.
can I share something with you?
Do it.
Now I have the ability to make my screen full screen. So
Nice.
if you make my screen full screen,
All right, here we go. Let's do that here. Let's go. Let's go. Can I make your screen full screen? I sure can. Let's see if I can get the right
Yeah.
one.
that was
That's
yours.
first. It's me. That's who else wants to be full screen? Come on here.
Yeah.
All right, here, how do I do his screen only? I'd have to promote his up to me, right? And then I'd have to go like this. There we go.
Okay, is that how you do it?
Yep.
Okay. So this is one of my little foamy fixed wings, right?
I almost hit that the other day.
And you should have looked at it, because if you look right above the
Here, we get that off there.
vertical stabilizer right there, you'll see what looks like popsicle sticks, because it is popsicle sticks, and that's an FPV camera.
Oh, wow.
That's a self-contained camera and VTX. And then if you look right here, you'll see the power lead running to it from the receiver.
That is freaking tiny.
because that's all I had to do was plug it into the receiver. So this particular flight is 100% FPV. Okay.
Look at that. Oh, wow. That must be a big plane. That looks, because
No,
you're making the camera look tiny. That's got to be what size is your plane there?
that's like a 36-inch wingspan. Now,
Oh.
this flight, 100% in the goggles, guys.
That's cool.
Never looked at the airplane once. I took off, flew, and landed all through the goggles.
I can do that too.
He's been. It's just a staying up part.
But my landing actually was on the landing gear with a rollout.
Oh, okay. Let's see it. Come on. We're going to watch the landing gear and the rollout.
Now he's getting all technical on it.
Oh, man. He's showing off now. Okay. This will be the last time you're on this stream, man. You keep showing off.
I don't remember if I did any loops or rolls with this flight. I don't remember. But
yeah, that's just one of those little self-contained cameras, and you got a power lead going to it.
Yep. You can see the power lead taped to the fuselage right there.
Right. And then the video lead. Well, no, it's just self-contained. Yeah. It's just power. So
it's got the BTX and everything built in.
Yeah, it's going right to the goggles. Yeah, I've seen those. Those are like little $10 cameras. You probably how many watts you running there? 200?
No, I wasn't even. It was like 25 or 50 or whatever. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I need to turn it up because when I was getting that far away, I was getting some breakage in my video feed. But
that's a unique way of mounting that camera. I like that. It's not messing too much with your vertical stabilizer there?
None. Zero.
Okay. There's your roll right there. There it is.
Yep.
Almost got the ground there. Okay, Kai's enjoying this. He's a huge fixed wing dude. I think I could fly one of these. I probably could find an inexpensive kit, for $100 just to get behind the sticks.
I'll tell you exactly what you need to get. It's almost toy grade. There's a loop. Well, it was more of a wing over, but
wing over.
I didn't build up enough airspeed to get the loop completely around before I did it, but that's all right.
You talking about the little Mustang?
Yeah. That little mini Mustang.
Yeah.
Man, that thing
I've flown Kelly's little Mustang.
Is that thing not amazing or what?
It's too tiny.
Hard to see.
Here you go, Kai. There you go, buddy.
Oh, I seen it.
No, that's because it's grass instead of pavement. Come on.
Come on. Don't you have a runway there? Come on.
Yeah, we got a grass runway. That's what we got. Grass strip.
Okay, that gives you some perspective right there, the size of the wings there.
I can't help it when I have fence posts and water towers and shit getting in my way. It's not my fault.
All right. Hey, thanks for sharing that.
Here's that camera.
Oh, here.
Yeah, that's a little Eachine camera, isn't it?
Yeah.
Eachine, what is that? 100, 400,
some little mushroom antenna there, or a little. Yeah. I've actually got one of those sitting in my garage right now. I have it. I was flying. That was one of the first FPV cameras I ever put on something.
So that's.
Yeah, but then now we got to get the analog module to put on our digital goggles.
Here, we got to stick freaking Mel back in his place there. There we go.
Yeah, boy. Damn.
Low center.
Put me in my place. That's right.
Damn, boy.
Yeah, I really wouldn't mind having the digital setup, but
you'll get one. I think it'll change your life because you can take that digital setup and you can put it on your fixed wing planes, and you'll get perfect video. And that's the way you have to look at it, Mel. Don't look at it like you just have to have a DJI product. Take the air unit, mount it inside your plane, and that's and then you got 1080 video. 720 to the goggles. It's freaking unbelievable. 9 by 16.
Yeah.
9 by 16.
That's $1,000.
I know, but you spend $1,000 on your computer and your kids and all the other cool things and your girlfriend or wherever you're spending it on. Take that $600 the government gave you and freaking go buy some goggles. All right.
He don't like you no more.
I know. Sorry, man. I'm doing what Kai does.
Did you guys forget that I went 100% full-time YouTube?
Oh, no, I did not know that.
Yeah.
We did not know that.
100% full-time YouTube. Yeah. In fact, starting on my next live stream, there should be a join button for my channel where you can join it. And the top tier gets a set of Fly Safe, Fly Smart coasters.
There we go. Well, look at it. You even got a TPU unit there to freaking show them off. You print that?
Yeah. That's off my 3D printer.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm full-time YouTube. And the
this is the hard sale, guys.
0.7 cents that I get off of each month of YouTube, it's going to take me a long time to save up for that $1,000 digital.
No, it does. It does take a while. Yeah. It takes a while.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I can't do that. I got to keep the day job. I enjoy my
when you get to be my age, you don't have to do a day job no more.
Oh, dang it. Stop bragging. My day job
is because I just couldn't handle the stress and pain of being in the cab of a truck anymore after almost 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you're happy though. That's the whole thing. Be happy and take your time.
I feel good. You know, I'm not taking 1,200 milligrams of ibuprofen every day anymore.
Mel, you'll be able to buy our gear in a year or two for cheap. Because we'll be on V2 of the goggles and
and you guys will all move up and you'll pass on your other stuff to the old guys that, buy it a little bit at a time. Yeah. Happy New Year, Brian. Yeah. So anyway.
No, that's cool. That's cool. You know what? It's okay. I'm in no hurry to do stuff. And Kai's always like doing things. The only reason why I bought the quad I bought today was
I bought it.
Because first of all, because Kai bought it. And then the other thing is I just don't know if I'm going to, I don't know if I'm rich enough to buy the new DJI product that's coming out. That's really not going to be better than what I can already do. And,
it's really not. And it's not going to be as easily fixed.
Yeah, I have fun with what I'm doing right now. And I have a lot of choices that I can have, as far as motors and, anything you can stick in these things, prop sizes, battery size.
I made it.
Yep. Dude, it is DJI goggles when he upgrades.
Well, the V1 goggles are going to come out. I guarantee they're going to be one of those things, just like everything else DJI puts out. The only problem with this whole philosophy is it might take you 3 years before you'll buy one of these, because I had to wait 3 years for this to get cheap enough where I could buy it.
Is that the original Air?
Oh, it's awesome. I got 4 Hawks with this thing. This thing kicks butt, man. I love this thing.
Mine's not within reach, but yeah, I've got one.
Yeah. I mean, this thing, everybody's looking for the latest and the greatest. This is freaking one of the greatest drones ever made. And then I put
and fast.
Yeah, fast. And it's got the aftermarket props on it.
Yeah.
So it's not like a murder hornet.
Yep.
No, Kai made me buy that. That's another thing he made me buy. Then he sold his. What an a-hole.
Well, I sold mine to buy the Evo.
He went and bought an Evo on me. Freaking playing both sides of the fence.
Traitor.
No, I like.
And the geofencing
on the Evo.
The geofencing is going to be on all drones pretty soon anyway. So you guys go ahead and love them Evos while you can.
B-Max says he's buying the new DJI FPV. It's okay. You can buy it, but it's not an FPV drone. It is a faux FPV drone. There's a difference. Okay. It is a faux FPV drone. It is going to fly GPS. The cameras should be amazing on it, though. That's the one thing that could get me excited is that camera they stick on it. It'll be something awesome. 2.7, 60 frames per second, something with a high speed. So you can get those cool edits. Because that's about the only thing. Other than that,
Now he wants to slam it into the wall at 60 mile an hour.
Yeah, how are you going to fix that thing? Exactly. That's props and whole. Anyway,
I'll make you a deal, B-Mac. I mean, instead of spending $1,500 to slam it into the wall and not have nothing to show for it, just send me a check for $500 and be done with it.
He says he's gonna. Well, it says that's why I'm only doing 60 rather than 120. I mean, the freaking FPV quads, guys, they go faster than you're legally able to, and you got to watch that crap.
You can
they
get
can put up 100 miles an hour like no problem.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Kai's going to get a freaking speeding ticket. He's going to be flying his quad down the freaking next to a road. I actually have a road that I like to fly next to, just because I can tell the speed of the drone, and I get next to a car or a truck that's going about 55 and I know exactly where I'm. Then if I can freaking just like gain on it and then pass it.
Yeah. Where do you live?
I live in St. George, Utah, which is southern Utah.
I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by Class B airspace. Yeah, go ahead.
I said 35 years over the road. I know exactly where St. George is.
It's a beautiful spot.
Nice gorge down there just south of you too.
Yeah, you got the Virgin Gorge. You probably had a lot of fun driving your truck through there.
Well, it's interesting.
It's a dangerous freaking road, dude. It's
okay if it's only truck drivers that drive the way they're supposed to, but we got to put up with all those people in cars that think they can go through there at 100 miles an hour.
Oh, you're right. That is a nutty road. I don't even like. I actually from the location that I live, I don't have to go through the Virgin Gorge. I go around it. I go out. I take the back road. I take Old Highway 91. Anytime I go to Vegas or I go to Mesquite or Beaver Dam. Yeah, I love that back road there. There are so many places to fly on that back road. There's areas. I haven't even flown through the Joshua trees yet. You just wait. I'm going to get video through the Joshua trees.
Well, that's national forest, so isn't it? Or national park area?
It's BLM.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if it's just BLM, you can fly it okay. There's areas that I can't. There's some wilderness areas you got to watch out for.
Okay.
I stay out of that. I don't want the headache. I could do it. Nobody would know.
I've never flown out there, so I don't know all of the different places.
You have to respect the areas. There was actually a really bad fire that went through that area at one time, and I don't want to be the creator of another fire to destroy that area because it's beautiful through there. But lots of ATVs and side by sides. It's a really busy area, but you can definitely get lost there. Meaning that there's nobody. You'll never see a person if you don't want to see a person. But you know the whole road, man. Especially the I-80 or I-15 for sure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, God.
I used to know. Go ahead.
I was going to say I used to be able to tell you. I can still tell you how to get around the country, probably like you guys could tell me how to get around your town. Okay? Yeah. But I used to be able to tell you how to get around the country and where the potholes were that you had to avoid.
When I was a contractor, I had a friend that I did some work for. He was a broker, but he was a driver before that. That guy knew every freaking road sign, turn, and in the United States. He could get on the phone and literally he could, right away he says, okay, you got to go by this turn and then there's a road there. And then of course there's a sign and you go look up there, he knew every detail.
Yeah.
But he was a driver before he was a broker. So.
Yeah.
You should be a broker. Why don't you get on the phone, man? Tell people where to drive.
I'd rather have fun telling them where to go.
I'd rather fly drones. Me too. Moses Crawford.
I'd rather do, I'm looking for something that I was going to share with everybody. Which one is it? That's neither one of them. Dadgummit. I can't find anything I want tonight, guys. I guess I'll just
Ivan
have to
finally
skip it.
showed up.
Well,
Ivan,
I told you 10 minutes ago he was here.
oh, was he? Has he been?
Yeah.
Well, crap, Ivan, I'm sorry. It's been it's a late New Year's for me. Oh, there he is. Sorry about that, Ivan. I didn't even say hi to you when you popped in an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, he's been here a while.
Freaking sorry about that. Kai, keep me out of trouble. You know I'm on the pickles now.
Yeah, you coming off the pickles now.
I'm shutting the jar right now.
You're gonna get cut off. Don't make me call your wife.
I'm shutting the jar right now. I'm not even going near this freaking jar.
Oh man, that's not even right, dude.
He's gonna drink the pickle juice in a minute.
No, I am not going there. Old Smoky. If you ever have a chance, Mel, and I mean, you don't have to be a drinker or anything. I'm not really a drinker, but if you, they make a eggnog, Old Smoky. It is so good. Whew. Put a little ice in there and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I should be a spokesman for Old Smoky. Let's see. I'm totally a believer. Let's see, Bob. It says it's still in the air, but every product in their line offers a refresh. Yeah, just talking about
Bob was asking if the FPV drone's going to have refresh.
Refresh, yeah, probably.
I would imagine. I mean,
It's going to be a GPS quad. It's not going to be an FPV quad. It's going to be a GPS quad that flies FPV like.
It's a GPS quad with goggles.
But yeah,
well, you know,
obviously
you can put GPS on these quads now. So why is that such a big deal?
Because go ahead. You want to explain, Kai?
Well, no, drones, whatever, quad. You know, we kind of differentiate between quads and drones. So the quads, you know, your FPV quads, and then you have your GPS camera drones. And your GPS camera drones have a lot more flight autonomy to them than an FPV quad, right? Because the GPS drone, I mean, you don't have to throttle control like you have on an FPV setup.
Yeah, an FPV quad basically
on a GPS camera drone, you hit the left yaw, and you know it yaws, but only at the rate whatever's been predetermined. You don't have the variable like you do on the sticks on an FPV.
Yeah, that's why you get totally different. You know, it's like the people that
fly completely different flight behavior between the FPV and
all the GPS does with the FPV quad is it tells you location. It can recover the drone in a very simple way, but it doesn't hover, right? It just brings it back to you, and then it will require you to basically take control of it again, which is actually kind of nice because you become a true pilot and not, you know, a guy, you know, making an FPV quad just kind of move around. I'm more of a pilot flying that thing than I'm freaking flying a Mini. I'm literally just a bystander with a controller. But
yeah, there's different levels. I mean, a guy that flies airplanes will say y'all are just playing with a bunch of toys. Come fly a real airplane. You know what I mean? I'm not a pilot. What level are you gonna, you know, cut it off at? But
yeah, we argued about that. Not argued, but we both agree that we're not pilots. I don't give a crap what the freaking 107 I earn. I am a remote operator. I'm not a pilot. I don't strap my butt into it and freaking have to save my own ass if it freaking crashes. So there you go.
Right. There you go.
It's not dumbing down the hobby. It's just the truth.
That's a good analogy right there.
You know, if I crash with the plane, it's kind of like earlier, Kai and I were talking. I was driving from Vegas last night or yesterday afternoon, and I'm driving down I-80. There's 150 freaking cars in the same area I'm at. And here's this giant helicopter flying down the highway, right down the center lanes. He's going to turn
Wow.
off and he's going to, he's basically doing his downwind approach to land on the top of a hotel,
Right.
He's flying right down the highway. Can you imagine the freaking damage that guy could do?
Yeah.
And we make a big deal out of a freaking 250 gram piece of plastic. And, getting back, going full circle in our discussions today, but I just don't equate them. They're not the same. But we still are required to be the same. So.
Somewhat.
Well, if you flew ultralights, yeah, that does count because you get your ass strapped to that thing and you don't want to crash.
Yeah, there would be a whole different feeling, as I was, in a stall, if my ass was literally, attached to it compared to, because I think I've been in enough small airplanes because I know what they feel like, and I know what it's like to feel like you're coming in and you're with like a steep approach. Because I have a friend that's an Air Force pilot. And he always flies high over the tops of houses. And once he gets to the approach of the airport, he's down and in. And he goes, yeah, I keep my altitude as high as I can just in case I ever have to abort my flight. And but it's just interesting, the perspective from an actual pilot versus you. He thinks it's funny that I'm 107 guy, but he laughed because he's a captain. He actually flew 767s and he flew F
real ass airplane.
Yeah, I forget he flew transports during a desert storm and all those things. But he he says he retired just recently and now he's a ship captain. He went and got his sailboat captain's license and he grew a big beard like you, Mel. It's funny. I haven't talked to him in like 2 years, and he's got a big old beard. And he's like, well, we're going to go to Catalina. Come on down. We'll get in the sailboat. It'll take us about 8 hours. He's now a shipboat captain.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's interesting that a lot of people don't realize that to skipper a boat commercially, you have to have a captain's license.
Yeah, he went through the training. That's his personality.
Yeah, it's really kind of funny that a lot of people don't even realize it.
I just want to see Dad around him run around with one of those captain hats.
I'm freaking getting my captain's hat. You're getting this freaking second lieutenant's hat. I'm gonna freaking.
We'll get you all those white Top Gun hats. Yeah,
He's gonna have a second lieutenant's hat. He ain't gonna be able to wear the captain's hat. Oh, we got to have fun a little bit.
So we got to kind of mind our time because
it's 5:45. So this was a good stream. I had a good time. So
me too. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for making me the bad guy though.
No, you're not the bad guy.
We brought me on to tell everybody.
No,
we already had several discussions about the subject.
Just remember, everybody, that a lot of people said that someone over there on the East Coast is flying as a hobbyist, not a commercial, not a 107 pilot, flying as a hobbyist, but they're charging him with violations under 107 regulations. The reason they can do that is because he is flying under 107 regulations, not hobbyist regulations. And if you want to know how to discern the difference, I can share this with you because I found it on my screen. Reauthorization Act of 2018. Now I done closed the folder, so I won't be able to find it again. No, it's right here. It's called 49 U.S. Code 44809. So just Google search USC 44809, everybody. that wants to know the facts. That document right there is easy to get your hands on and has everything you need to know about why you're flying under 107 regulations when you think you're flying as a hobby flyer.
Hold on here. Let me take mine off here.
That's the document right there.
Here, let's go full size with that. Hold on here. Just so you can see it. Hold on. I just got to freaking move some things around here and put that up there. And I'm learning here. All right, there we go. This is the document he's talking. And this is, here. It should be up there. Come on here. Come on. Be good.
Computer again?
I know. It should be up there.
Yeah, it looks like it is on the feed.
Yeah. I was trying to put it in the middle, but.
Oh, so anyway, under the Reauthorization Act of 2018, this right here, and its document name is, it's under 49 of the U.S. Code, Title 49 of the U.S. Code 44809. Okay? And there's, right here, it talks about the criteria that you got to get, and right here it is. It's section 349 at 49 U.S. Code 44809. Right there, you see that. That's what you want to look for. That's this document. But it goes through and it tells you everything that you need to know to determine whether or not you're flying as a 107 pilot or under 107 regulations or hobby regulations. And there is a definite difference. So if you really want to know the truth, that's what you got to go find, everybody.
And of course, if you do the 101 through remote pilot, there's all kinds of great info that they give you too. So Kai and I brought up, I'm going to throw one thing up there. Kai will throw the other one up. But this is something that you should, hopefully I can get this up here. Hold on here. I don't know why my screen share wasn't working. But let's see. Yeah, there it is. There's Sky Vector, which is very helpful. But of course, you've got to learn what all these little lines and dots mean. That's really important. But it's way less complicated than you think it is. And that's, a lot of people look at this and they go, oh crap, I can't do this. But this is free information. And I actually had somebody email me the other day, and they said, well, I live in Henderson, Nevada, which is right here under the blue. They said, well, I can't fly here. And I'm like, yeah, you can. You just have to learn how. And, you have to understand, you have to get authorization to fly there. But there's a lot of other places around where you live. Like I said, the only place that I would, shy away from, and I talked about the, areas north of you where you've got all the military stuff. You got Area 51 up here, basically. But this is one resource. And, a lot of people look at the place I fly, and I'll go over to, this is basically the area I fly over here. So this is our airport here, which is Class D. And then, but this is where I live. I live in G. I mean, I freaking have nothing but G airspace around me. It's absolutely uncontrolled airspace. And let me put up Kai's one here. I'll take mine down. Take mine. And this is the other version. This is the one Kai's been looking at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is the UAS map off the FAA. And that actually gives you the ceiling limits too, if you want to fly in certain areas. It also contains, like this little gem right here. This is one of those FRIA areas that are going to be popular coming.
Yep.
But they're limited to a ceiling of 150 feet because they're within Randolph Air Force Base airspace. And there's a boundary of 660 feet. So
most people, if they live next to you, they wouldn't fly. Many people that live next to Kai, they just wouldn't fly a drone. They wouldn't buy one. They get this map and they go, well, shit, I can't fly. But that's just not the case. You can. Yeah. You just have to learn how.
You know, and it's kind of funny because my local hobby store here in town, Horizon, the old guy that owns it,
Oh,
I
nice.
walked in the store and I said, how come you don't have any drones? He said, well, you know, they're kind of petering out on sales. They're too easy to buy online. He says, besides, you can't fly anywhere here in this town anyway. And I said, well, sure you can. You can fly all over in this town.
Yeah.
He said, no, you can't because it's within 5 miles of the airport. I said, that hadn't got a lick of nothing to do with it.
Right.
There is no place in this town except at the airport that you cannot fly a drone.
Right.
And he argued with me about it. So I just kind of changed the subject. You can't convince someone that thinks they already know it all. Right.
Right.
And
And you're bringing up a big point, a really good point about 107 and learning. It's knowledge.
yeah. Yeah. And when I bought my Mavic Mini that I'm going to give away on my channel, the kids that I bought it from, I bought it off of Facebook Marketplace. We actually met in the parking lot of the hobby store. And that's where I flew the drone to test fly it before I bought it.
Right.
And he just stood outside scratching his head, you know.
Yeah, this like I said, a lot of good information. There's a ton more out there, and like I said, my biggest fear is people are going to be afraid of, of being a hobbyist or being a whatever, a remote operator, and they're just going to give up. And there's just so much more to come. The technology, to
Yep.
me, I'm an optimist.
RPIC. Yep. There's going
There's
to be
so much more to come.
there's
and,
so much more that can happen.
and we want young people to learn, and we want this hobby and this knowledge to move forward and get
Sure.
better.
Yep.
So
And it
that's my
will,
last-
as long as we don't get everybody disagreeing to follow and play nice, you know.
yeah, and that's
Everybody's
okay.
gotta play nice.
That's the key. No, everybody just, and I mean, now that the FAA actually took the community serious, because if you look at the remote,
They did.
it
listened
shows
to a lot of it.
they are very, very much taking the remarks and responses that were submitted seriously, because
So you know what?
the 470-page document, you'll see.
Here's my take on that. The Department of Defense and Homeland Security said, we want a grip on this. The FAA said, we'll give it to you. And then the FAA figured out how to satisfy the Department of Defense and Homeland Security and us at the same time. And I think they did an absolutely fantastic job. And my message,
it's not perfect. It's not perfect either.
It's not perfect, but it's better than the Department of Defense wants, which is nothing. Department of Defense wants the airspace, period. Homeland Security wants the airspace, period. They don't want people like us being able to fly drones at all because they're worried that they can be bombs. You know, they're worried that they could be used nefariously. Smuggled drugs, you know, whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
You know, the facts are
prisons.
That more drugs have been smuggled, lack of sunshine, into prisons than drones could ever smuggle into prisons.
They were smuggling crap into prisons without drones. They don't need drones.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Lack of sunshine smuggling.
Uh-oh, it's time to eat. This is that time.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's that time, and it's also time for
you got to listen to my wife, Mel. She's saying it's time to eat. So Jamie? No, she's not gonna. She got camera shy. All right.
She got microphone shy.
Yeah, yeah.
So
but hey,
we
did.
I ate just before I came on. We did a ham, and I can't do black-eyed peas. They're absolutely disgusting. Most nasty things I ever ate once in my life, and I'll never eat them again. But
navy beans.
We had the boiled fried cabbage and ham and dressing and, you know, all the stuff. It was a super good meal we had just before I came on. So
you want to say goodbye? I'm going to say I already said my bye. I told you this episode was brought to you by Old Smoky.
Well, thanks for the invite, guys. I appreciate it.
Mel.
And just remember, if you're flying, you're probably flying under 107 regulations, everybody. So don't just think that I'm the hobby flyer is going to get you out of trouble because it ain't.
Fly safe, fly legal, fly smart.
Yep.
That's exactly right.
Thanks for joining us, Mel.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. It's about that time.